Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. I've got something very cool to show you today, and that is the Signature Solar all-in-one DIY portable power backup kit. And as you can see, it comes in an ammo can. This is an all-inclusive teaching tool that has a practical application after you put it together. You're going to find all the parts and pieces you need to put together your own solar generator. I've gotten so many comments over the years that some people think that they just can't do it. But that's not true. I think everybody can do it, and this small kit can help you learn how to do it. And in this video, I'm going to show you every little part and piece in here, what it does, and how to put this together. Let's go. If you're a teacher or a homesteader who is interested in STEM projects, this is perfect for you as well. Today I'm going to bring my kids into this video and teach them how a small solar system operates. And then at the end of the build, we're going to have a practical little generator that can be used for several different things. If you're interested in this kit, I will leave a link for it in the video description along with a coupon code if you use our link. And that will give you $50 off this system. Let's open it up. Before I start pulling things out of the ammo can, I do want to show you this, which comes with the kit, and that is a flexible 80-watt solar panel. Now, of all the little portable solar generators that I've seen on the market, none of them come with a solar panel. This is included in the cost, and these go for about $120. I'm going to talk about why that's significant when we talk about the cost of this thing. Okay, taking a look inside, we've got some sticky back foam, and I'll tell you what that's for in a moment. We have 3 separate fuse holders. We've got 3 feet of red and black conductors right here. We have this voltage monitor and charging port station right here. So I'm going to rip this open. We've got the readout, USB, USB-C ports. We've got some heat shrink for protecting wires. We have some fuses and a 12-volt charging port right here. We have this little Morningstar charge controller. We have these solar PV wires with an Anderson connector on this side. Then we've got an Anderson connector plug right here to plug in our solar panels. We have a small solar inverter in here, and this is a 300-watt inverter. And you see it's got 2 120-volt ports right here for plugging things in. And then it has a 12-volt connection here that attaches into the power station via this 12-volt port. We have a bag with a wide assortment of butt splice connectors, fuses, nuts and bolts, and ring terminals. We've got some all-thread, and I'll show you what that's for. And then, of course, it wouldn't be a power station without a battery. This is a Mohs lithium iron phosphate battery. It's a 12-volt, 50 amp hour battery. So it's 12.8 actual volts times 50 amp hours, and that is a 640 watt hour battery. My opinion, they've packed a lot in this little kit. We're also going to talk about at the end of the video what it would cost you to buy each one of these pieces individually, and then compare that with the price of the kit. Okay, now I'm going to describe what each part and piece is, and I brought the girls in so they can learn what the parts are and how to put it together. And for reference, this is going to be very similar to this little Blue Eddy that I have, this little portable solar generator. It takes solar in, it's got direct DC ports and AC ports, so it has an inverter in it. Most of the ones in the market you're going to find are like this. Okay girls, so these are all the parts and pieces, the basic parts and pieces, including that solar panel over there, that we need to put this together. Do you know what this is?
No.
No. This is an inverter. It takes DC power from either the solar panel or the battery and makes AC power so you can plug things into it, like a phone charger or like a computer or a fan or something like that. Because those don't use DC power, they use AC power. Cool?
Yeah.
Do you know what this is?
Yeah.
This is a charge controller. It takes the energy from the solar panel and modulates it so that it charges the battery properly. Because I can't charge the battery directly from the solar panel. You need this little part in between to make sure that you're not going to blow up your battery. Okay, you know what these little cords are for right here? These are the solar wires, or PV wire. And these take the DC power that the solar panel is producing, take it around, and you plug it into here, and then it goes through the charge controller, charges the battery. And then there's other little parts like this. This is where you plug in this one. See, it fits right in there. This one right here is where you plug in the solar panels. So basically that's what's in the entire kit. I'm addressing them, but I'm addressing you at the same time. Now we're going to look at some tools that we need to complete this project. Okay, you're going to have a few simple tools for this build. First of all, you need to cut some holes in your ammo can, and that is to mount things like this, the little charging ports all over. So what you're going to need, of course, drill bits and a drill, right? Now make sure those drill bits are rated to drill through metal, but they're not probably going to be big enough to drill a hole big enough for our ports. So what we are going to need also is what's called a step drill. You may want to, if you can find it, buy a hole saw that's rated for metal. But those are going to be a little more difficult to use. So you can also buy a punch tool. Some of the manual ones go for around $40, the hydraulic ones for about $90. You are going to need some wire strippers and wire cutters. You're going to need a small crimper. You're going to need a multimeter, and that's for safety, so you can test out if you have any electricity flowing through the system or not. Some wrenches and a screwdriver, something to measure with, mark with, and draw a straight line with. And then you may need a heat gun for the heat shrink. I've had these tools for years, and I bought them to do my first solar project on the house. I will list everything in the description below the video, along with links for them. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is start out with the battery in the box, and I need to measure where I need to put the other parts. So the battery is the biggest piece, so it's got to go in first. What I'm going to do is take one of these foam pieces, take the backing off, and stick it on the end of the box, all the way up flush with the top edge. When I get that set, then I will also put a piece of foam along the back here. Those two pieces should lock it into place, but the other thing that's going to lock it into place is this all thread. And to figure out where to put that, I've made a few marks. What I've done is come in here with my marker, and I've marked the edge of the battery on both sides. What I've also done is close the top and marked just under the lid right here. And that's so when I'm installing the other parts, I don't accidentally go above and into the lip, because that would not be good. Now for our all thread, it is a little long for the project. So the other tool you are actually going to need is a hacksaw to cut off the excess all thread. Now what we're going to do is drill a hole to the outside, or this side, of the line we marked on the inside. And for us, we're going to drill 3.5 inches up to be in the center of our battery. But of course, make sure the battery is out before you start drilling. And make sure you are wearing your safety glasses, right girls? Yeah. Let's mark your all thread about 1/2 inch out, right there. Start cutting it off with a hacksaw. Okay, so we can put our battery back in. Let's put our all threads through. And can you put those on the other side for me? And we're going to lock in our battery.
Can we put this one first?
Put the washer first and then the nut. Now that we've done that, our battery's locked in this direction. And then we're going to push down our piece of foam on this side. Now we need to drill more holes for all of our ports and our charge controller, which is going to go here. Now girls, we're going to put on the charge controller. What's the smart thing for me to do first? What do you think?
Drill a hole.
Yeah, I have to drill holes, but what should I do before I drill holes? Check if it's going to fit in the proper place, right? Okay, so we want to be below this line, and it's going to go on the inside. But this one, I can mark the holes on the outside. So we don't want it to also bump into what? The battery, right? Mm-hmm. So we've got to center it in the open space that's left here. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to hold this here. Would you put a dot for me in the bolt holes on either side? Okay, now before I drill the holes for our charge controller, I'm going to also put dots where I want all of our connection ports, so we can drill all of our holes at the same time. I'm going to put a dot in the middle on the side and a dot in the middle on the top. And where those two dots meet, that's where I'm going to drill my hole, right in the center. Hey friends, you don't really have to measure these out, but for reference, this is 1.25 inches in from the end and 1.5 inches up from the bottom. So we're going to spin this around and then do the same measuring technique as I did on the outside. Just put a dot on one side, a dot on the other, and then put a dot in the middle, and that's where our port will be. Now you can kind of measure it in a little bit from the edge, maybe about a 1/4 inch, because there is a rounding of this edge of the ammo can. And we want to have room on the inside to screw our nut to tighten this all the way. So I'm going to say that one is a minimum of 1.25 inches from the edge, and from the top, about 2 inches. And then we have one of very similar size to this one. This is our DC 12 volt connection. And that one I'm going to place toward the bottom. But the nice thing about this is it's customizable. So if you want to add more of these, you can just drill more holes wherever you have room. You can't do that on ones like the Blue Eddy or anything else that's already put together for you. As long as everything fits inside, you can put one down here. Whatever you choose. Just buy a few more of these and you're all set. And I will actually leave links to these in the description also. And just like the other side, this one is about 1.5 inches up from the bottom. Okay girls, it's time to start drilling those other holes. Now we're going to take our step drill and enlarge the pilot holes so that they accommodate our connectors. Just keep checking, or you can measure the width of this to make sure this goes in nicely. But be careful, these threads are plastic, so you don't want to jam it in there and mess up the threads. Perfect. Okay, now that we've got our holes drilled in here, our battery is mounted. Now, what do we need to do? Do you know?
No.
We have got to put together, let me get this out of the way so everybody can see, we've got to connect all these little wires. So we have to put this on the end of one. Do you know what this one's called? That's a ring terminal. And then we have to connect these two wires together here. But do you know what another name for the wire is?
What?
Conductor. Do you know why, Ariel?
Because it conducts electricity?
Correct, because it conducts electricity. This is called a butt splice connector. And so we put it here and we butt the other one up to it, and then we crush it or crimp it on both sides, and then that will hold both wires together. So we have to put all these things on, and that's super simple. We just need our crimping tool. We are going to put our fuse holders on the positive wires on our charge controller. So for the battery, that's the red wire. And for the solar input, it's the yellow wire for the sun. Now guess what? When we're working with all these and working with the battery, since the battery's already charged, we want to keep our fuses out of there. We don't want to put it in there because then that makes the connection. So we're going to keep that off to the side until the very end. So let's put this on here. This one's going in this side, and we are going to crimp it. Think you can crimp that for me? Let's see how strong you are. Squish it. Squish, 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 squish.
Did I do it?
I don't know. We're going to have to find out. But you always want a solid connection, and you always pull on your connection to make sure it's solid. Because when you have bad connections, that's when fires can start. And Ariel, you want to crimp this one on here?
Sure.
Okay, it's in there. Crimp it in the back part, back here. There we go. All right. See how strong you are. Crimp. Squeeze it. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Good. Okay. Let's check it. Yep. We made a good connection. Okay, now we're going to shrink this around those just for a little bit of protection on our wires. Make sense?
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to turn this on. Don't aim this at the good parts. Just right here. Pretty cool, huh?
Yep.
All right, now let's do all of our other ones, and then we'll show everybody how to assemble it. We have got to put the Anderson connector ends and crimp these on here also. Okay, now these don't matter, they're exactly the same. Sometimes you got to watch out if one is different for positive and one is different for negative. But both of these are identical. Sometimes you need this pointy part on the crimpers to be able to squish it properly on something really small like this, because these are quite tiny. Now what I did earlier was just put these connectors in to make sure that they fit in the holes that we drilled. We are going to take them back out again because trying to connect the wires on the inside of this is more difficult. We're going to run the wires through the top and out and connect them out here. What I'm doing is I'm putting our monitor here on the bottom, and then I am putting the 12 volt on the bottom in the back. And then I am putting our Anderson connector for our solar panels here on the top. And the reason I'm doing that is so this will fit. So that's the beauty about this kit. You can modify it how you want. Okay girls, we can put the charge controller in here like that. And we're gonna bolt it through the holes we already drilled. Then we're gonna run those 2 wires over to our Anderson connector, which is for our solar panels up here at the top. You're gonna need a short little screwdriver if you take this route. It's gonna fit better than trying to get a wrench down in here, so you want the screw heads on the inside. Perfect. Then these 2 right here will come out of this hole for our Anderson connector. First though, you wanna put the ring on so that you can screw it on the inside. Now we're gonna route our wires out of the hole. We'll just clip these in the back and then seat this on here. Okay, before we connect everything, we are gonna get everything else situated in this box. I want you to pay attention though to this wire. This is for our monitor and our USB ports. On that came these 2 small ring terminals. You need to cut these off and put on the ones that came in the kit, which will accommodate the larger studs on the top of the battery. So just chop those off, get rid of them. Okay, for wire management in here, I'm not going to use this heat shrink. I'm just going to use twist ties. We don't really have any sharp metal points in here or any metal where the wire can get cut, so I'm not going to utilize that. What I'm going to do is put the wires here on top of the battery and use the foam to hold them down when the top is closed. And if you need, you can find other packing foam around your home that will work just as well. Now we can connect this, our voltage monitor and our USB ports on the front. If you look at it on the back, it's got a positive and a negative. So our red is always going to be our positive. So if you can plug that in to the positive on there, perfect. And the negative to the negative. Okay, so we've got our monitor and our USB ports, and those are all 12 volt. And guess what? Our battery is 12 volt. So those can directly connect to the battery. They don't need anything else in between. They don't need an inverter in between them. This wire is very, very long, so it's going to have to curl up here on the top of the battery. But we're going to get our connections made first. In my opinion, this kit could have one of these with a much shorter wire. Okay, we've got all of our parts connected to the ammo can. We've got our battery in, we've got our charge controller, we have our solar connector right here with the Anderson connector. Down at the bottom, we have our 12 volt connector, and in the front, we've got our USB connectors and our monitor. Now the only thing left to do is to connect each of these pieces to our battery. Of course, the black wire to the black and the red wires to the red. So this battery is very specific. It doesn't have a terminal that sticks up. The terminal is indented like this. So what we're going to do is we are going to take all 3 of our hot leads and put them onto our positive terminal and then screw it in. So you're going to get all those in there together, and then you're going to screw it in to the top right there. And so they lay flat. You kind of want to spread them out a little bit like that. Hand tighten it first, and then we will take off the cap and use a socket to tighten this down even tighter. Okay, now we're going to take all of our blacks and go over here to the black. Put those together. Just hand tighten it for now. Okay, now comes wire management, and you can do this any way you want. But before we do wire management, we're going to see if this works. So let's take a look on the side and check it out.
It's working.
It's working. Check it out. Nice. And it says 13.2 volts, which means our battery is pretty much topped off to our port in the back. And we're going to test that out. We're going to plug in our inverter. I'm going to turn it on. And you can see we have power to our inverter. And to test out our inverter, we're going to plug in a box fan here. Check it out. Perfect. Bam. That's how it's done. Well, there it is, a portable solar generator with a panel that you can use to teach yourself how to put a big system together or teach your children how a little system like this works. Did you enjoy yourself putting this together?
Yes, it's very fun.
Awesome. Okay, so I told you I'd talk about cost at the end of the video, and this whole kit together costs $500. Now I know what you're thinking, that might be a little much, but those little generators that you see all over the place don't come with a solar panel. And if you price this solar panel out on Amazon, it's $125. So we're going to take that off the top right away if you want to compare apples to apples. I also went through and priced out every single part in this entire kit, including the ammo can. If you were to buy all of the parts separately in here, you'd arrive at $320. So $320 plus the panel, you're at $445. And like I said, if you use our coupon code, you're down to $450. So it's $5 more for you to buy it from Signature Solar than it is to make it yourself and find the parts on Amazon. Is that worth it? You know, I kind of think it is, because everything has been assembled together for you. You don't have to think about which part and piece do I need to put together something like this. And it's been great working with my girls, using it as a teaching tool. I homeschool them, so it's a perfect addition to our homeschool curriculum. All right, let's take this out and see if we can catch the last sun of the day. Okay, let's pop this open. We're going to get out our solar leads here and connect them to our panel, and then plug them in to our Anderson connector. Pull out our inverter, and we are going to connect that in the back. Ariel, these are called MC4 connectors. Can you connect those for me? Push it on there tight. It should click into place. There we go. We'll hold our panel here, and then plug in our Anderson connector. Just like that, and we should be charging. Now, something I think they could add to the kit is a charging monitor, because I have a feeling the panel is working, but I don't know if it is or not 100%. I've got my battery voltage monitor down here, but no way to really know if it is charging the battery. But you can find something pretty easily out there to be able to do that. All right, if you have any questions about how this thing goes together, please leave them for me in the comments section below. Now go check out this video right here on an amazing off-grid inverter that's split phase. It'll run your whole house, and its price just dropped. It is incredibly affordable. I know you'll love it. Have a beautiful, blessed day. We'll see you next time. Bye.